Are you struggling with your budget for indie films? This is something that happens to a lot of filmmakers. One thing you want to avoid is going over budget or well over budget, right? Especially when you don't have that much money. If you watch my Backyard Blockbuster course, I have a whole thing on squeezing the budget and trying to make something look gigantic for as little money as possible. But the key is you have certain numbers that are flexible numbers, meaning rates for people, right? And I've always said when you're pitching a low rate, you have, X amount of dollars for your camera person. You're not pitching it like, here it is, deal with it, or don't work for me. It's more like, this is all we have. I know you're worth a lot more. I would love to have you if you want to come out and play and do this. We'd love to have you, And so that's kind of the pitch that you have to take when the rates are low. But again, there may be a camera person that you really fell in love with, and they go, oh, my rate is this, and it's double what you have in the budget. You can't just immediately go, you know what, I want this person, go. That's a mistake, right? Because sooner or later you'll do that too many times, and now the budget triples, right? And the reason I say flexible costs, those are the ones that you can negotiate more than the ones that are like the hotels. Well, here's what we're giving you per night. This is the rate. This is the lowest we're going to go, right? And that may be more than you have budgeted in your budget. So at that point, what do? Then you have to find a different hotel, find a different location, or those ones that are, maybe that's the only hotel in the area where you got to shoot this movie. You're going to have to raise up for that. And the key is contingency. So the contingency can be used for those things where you go, I really want this camera person, but they're more than what's in the budget. Okay, pull some of that contingency. That's why it's good to pad the budget a little bit with a contingency in there, or maybe pad some of those numbers. I've done it where I've padded some numbers, then I've talked to the line producer and I go, all right, these rates are the top, try to get them lower. And then if they have to negotiate, then we'll go up to the top, but then we'll be at the as much as we could possibly spend on this movie. And failing all that, the negotiation, you through the contingency, instead of just the budget going up and then you call the investors, hey, by the way, budget's doubled. Talk to the investors first. Say, let's use that first example. Say that camera person is exactly who you want. You want that person, that DP for your movie. And you talk to the investors and go, hey, listen, I want to show you this. Here's the budget. We have this. This person wants double that. Okay, here's his or her credits, and they're real. Should we do it? Are you okay with this? Because it's going to make the budget go up. And I've done that. I've done that on films. I remember there was a wedding sequence and there was a club sequence in a film that I directed. And in both cases, we were like, we were only budgeted for this many extras. Do we want a bunch of extras? And I sat with the investors and said, look, we can fill this up. We can get a lot of extras. We can make this a gigantic wedding reception, gigantic club scene. But we're going to have to add this to the budget, and they approved it. So the key is communication. Communicate with your investors. If there's going to be a budget increase, they understand that if you do it first. You don't just go shoot the scene and then be like, oh, by the way, we need an extra X amount of dollars. You lay it out first and choose your battles. I've seen it where line producers and even producers, every person is that DP that I mentioned at the beginning where they want more and they go, oh, I want that person, I want that person. It's like, well, yeah, you can do that and do 5x the budget at the end of the day. That's a mistake. You're going to have to pick your battles and decide which things you really need to fight for, which things will chew up the contingency, which things you potentially need to talk to the investors about, and which things you are definitely not moving on the price that you have in the budget.